Hello, everybody. Hello. This is a dance without music. I really have to do a dance without music because uh, in YouTube you have to keep up your videos, and I didn't do a dance without music for a long time. I should have. It's just I have a very busy schedule. I was holding off on some things. I'm still not ready exactly to do lessons yet, but I do have a lot of updates. But I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do another YouTube on dance without music, the difference between dance without music and yoga, because a lot of people like yoga. And the major difference, which I can tell you right now, is American made. Okay. I'm American, and I made it, and so it goes along with the way that Americans think. I guess I mean, which is not bad. I mean, yoga is from another country, which is good too, and then there's American yoga also. But I'm just saying it was developed here, okay, for me. Okay, so now, there's some things that I haven't been catching up with. And there's a lot of things because it's just been a busy schedule. I've been doing the music and it progresses every day. And the big deal with the music is that the technique because I keep developing my technique, and that is just enormous. Sometimes 10 hours a day because I can do it while I'm working because I've been doing this so long. And then I have my ex Jehovah Witness videos, which are very important, and we're doing something very important there, which I have to do every day. But I have to make time for this, and there's another topic that I have another YouTube program that I do, but I can't get into that. That has to do with art. So let's get into the dance without music. This is again the fourth year. It's edging up on the fifth year. I didn't do height. That's one thing that I have to do. So let's start into height. Are there some things that I have to tell you? The only thing I can say is fourth year, and I can't explain a lot of things. But if it sounds like, because I got something on the oven, and it should be all right. I got the timer on right now, so I have to finish this lesson. But I'm gonna see. I mean, the oven's right here. No, everything's all right. So let me keep this door open. So anyway, height. Okay. Remember we talked about measurements. I told you. Okay, so. And you got all the terms that we have that we are doing. If you follow along, everything that we did is videos. It's YouTube for like the last 4 years. So if you're just coming in, thank you. Welcome. But there's a lot of things that have to be covered. So we know about the retro say. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to measure. There's something I didn't measure. There's something that I didn't do. But I'm not going to measure that. So we know about the measurements, and we know measurements don't have numbers. If I say from here to here, it's from here to here. There's no numbers. In actuality, that's the perfect measurement because, believe it or not, we measure things all day long. Not that we measure things, we have measured things all day long. I mean, we have measured things, how can I say, not all day, in our lives until we get used to the object. Like, for instance, how can I say? Okay, like say this, okay? I got this. Now, the thing about it is, I can ask you the measurements of it, and you'll say, oh, let me get a ruler. But it's not like that. In Dance Without Music, I have to say in Dance Without Music, although it's the real life, but I have to say everything Dance Without Music because I don't want to step on anybody's toes in different subjects. okay, like mathematics and everything. So I say everything that I say is according to Dance Without Music, so then there's no arguments, okay? So everything I can say here, but we feel like we know this. I mean, we feel like, like we understand this so well because it's a T-box. But believe it or not, these are measurements that we have been always doing our whole life. So that when we stop measuring it, we know the measurement without the number. So we know that this is from here to here, here to here. And we've seen this box so many times. I mean, we've seen these measurements so many times, so we don't have to measure it anymore. When I say measurements, I mean our measurements that we do in our mind automatically. And we feel so comfortable with this because we measured it before. And that's what makes us feel comfortable about it, because we studied it. I'm going to say that we studied it subconsciously. And when our subconscious mind sees it, the reason why I can say this is because my subconscious mind is pretty much, if you're in Dance Without Music, you see that we're taking over our subconscious mind. So that's why I can say what the subconscious mind says. So subconscious mind is so comfortable with this, okay? Because it measured it so many times in so many objects like this. But it measured it for what it is. It measures this from here to here. It doesn't need numbers, okay? So that's what we're doing height today. So believe it or not, we pretty much, maybe not, but we have a kind of concept of how we're measured because we use our measurements all the time. That's why when we get in different spots and we have to move over when we're walking, because we pretty much know our measurements. So now we're going to use the height, although most likely you never did this before, because most people use measurements, they use numbers. There's no numbers here. So, and everybody who knows what the retrosay is, I'm measuring, now I want you to measure the retrosay from the retrosay, okay, the bottom of the retrosay, not the bottom of the retrosay, but I just say the retrosay up until the first store. I gotta remember the terms. The first floor, okay. From the retrosay to the first floor, okay. So go from the retrosay to the first floor. That's a measurement, okay. It doesn't need numbers, but you have to conceive of it or see it in your mind, which is concrete in your mind, okay. And so now we want to go from the first floor to the piso, okay. I'm almost sure this is the piso. And then, what did I call this? Oh, okay, I have to get that. Okay, so now we're going to go from the first floor to the piso. And this is the piso. And if I make a mistake, you know what I'm talking about because it's like right here. Because I haven't worked with these terms in a long time, but I'm almost positive this is the piso. Okay, so now we're going to go from the first floor to the piso. So we did that measurement. So now I gotta see this is the story. That's right. We call this the story. So now I want you to take your measurement from the piso to the story. Okay, to the story, and the story is right here. So then you measure that. So that's the measurement that we have. Now we can do another measurement. These are tools. Remember we did the tools. But I don't know if I divided the tools for you. It's going to be hard to do the tools. I'm trying to see, should we do the tools? Okay, but there's another term. We're not going to say the tools because we know these are tools. But I didn't put a measurement, I didn't put a name for this, okay? Right here, from here to here and here to here. Here to here and here to here. So, I'm not going to figure it out. I'm not going to come up with a name. So we know we did those measurements. So now we're going to, there's another term that I came up with, which is going to be hard for me to explain to you. But I'm going to explain to you. Okay, I'm going to say it. There's another measurement that we have to do, okay? So from here, I use the terms that we use all the time. I'm going to call from here to here, heaven, okay? To me, that's what heaven means. I mean, when I hear heaven in the Bible, I actually mean there's somewhere here, but don't worry about that. That's just me. But what I want to use in Dance Without Music is I want to use this part. I'm going to call it. I use all different kinds of terms, but I'm going to call this heaven. From here to the top here, I'm going to call it heaven. The reason why, because all the way at the top, it's where all the instruments are. The function is up here. If you know the function, you know the function. So that's a new term for today. So anything here to here is heaven. And we deal with powers, and because I'm going to talk about the powers. I know these all sound like really strange to you, but we need terms, and I use terms that we use every day in order to communicate to you about Dance Without Music. Powers are things that we use every day. So you're going to hear that term. And the power, these are for people who just came in. And the powers are like tension, okay? Let me show you. I'm doing this because there might be new people. Like when we go like this is tension, okay? Because we feel tension here. That's tension. We call that a power. I'm sorry for the people who already know all these things. I just don't want to sound too weird for the people who just come in. So it's different from yoga, because in yoga, you don't really think about all these things. But in Dance Without Music, everything is important. So we have another one, which is weight. Everybody's familiar with weight. Weight is also power. What's another thing that we have as a power? Pressure, like we go like that, that's a power. So those are the powers I might talk about. So I don't sound so weird. Okay, so we did the height. Now we know about the height. And we know about the quadrant, the right quadrant or the natural quadrant, and we know about the other quadrant. So then the next thing that we're going to do that I didn't do before, that I haven't been able to talk to you about, is we're going to do combinations. Now, I'm going to do the combinations, and I also have to rely on the fact that you've seen the former videos. If you know me, if you know about the videos, then I don't have to worry about it. But I might say some things just to keep people's interest and get people to start from the beginning. That's what you have to do, start from the beginning if you really want to know everything. We have 4 years of material. It's going on the 5th year. Okay, it ends the 4th year, like June, and then we're going into the 5th year. So this is the 4th year. So now we're going to do combinations, and then I'm going to do something, refresh your memory on a former video that I did just recently. Okay, now we're going to do a combination with Radical 9. I'm going to do the combination with Radical 9, and I'm going to do it in the form of Radical 1. So Radical 1 is going to be in Radical 9. Okay, so here I go. Then I'm going to go back. Oh, I can go back another way. I'm going to go back another way, so you can get a point about Radical 9. Okay, so that's Radical 9. That's Radical 1 working inside Radical 9. Okay, all this is from the things that we have already done. Now there was one exercise that I did, the definition of space. And I'm going to do the combinations like I just did in the definition of space. Now remember, if I'm here, if I turn here, okay, I am going to be here. So I can move. Remember, like this square, and I'm using all these terms, but everybody knows that in Dance Without Music, there's no square. I mean, I could use square, and there's no numbers. And I say numbers, but there's no numbers. But I'm doing that to speak to everybody. So we got that. So if I turn like this, and we know there's 4 even parts. If I turn like this, I am actually here. Okay? If I turn again, I will be here. If I turn again, I will be here. Okay? And if I turn back to where I was before, I turn here. I'll be here. So I'm going to show you that. I can say that it's like, but it's nothing like. Just to keep people's interest, I'll say you have a radical 9. You're on stage, and it's only a radical 9. That's the only space that you're given, is the space that I walked. There's people here, there's people here, there's people here, and there's people behind me. I'm just doing this to keep people's interest. It's not like this, really, because it's not. But it keeps people's interest. And the people who know, that have been following along, they know that they can't hold on to this, because if you hold on to this just because I'm trying to get people's interest, you just know you can't, because I already talked about it. So I'm using this example just as an example. So if I'm here, okay, like I said, okay, and I'm here in radical 9, okay, and I turn here, and the only reason why I can move like this is because I'm in radical 1. Because I'm in radical 1, in radical 9, I can move around. If I was just in radical 9, I have to do this. You should know that, okay? But yeah, I'm in radical 1, in a radical 9. Now, there's a space here, 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 and here. If I turn here, and the audience is there, okay? I'm actually here, okay? Like, I'm actually here now, okay? So I just moved from here to here because I turned from here. So to this audience, I'm here, but now you can see why I'm just using it for the interest. So now I'm going to go right there, okay? So if I turn again, okay, I'm actually right there. And if I turn again, I'm right there, okay? To the audience here, I'm there, okay? Now I'm going to turn one more, and I'm back, okay? So that means you can move from one corner to the next by just turning, which is the truth for Dance Without Music. And you just gotta hold on to that, but you can see an example. But I told you I use the audience as something to hold people's interest. But everybody knows who follows these videos, when I say I'm just holding your interest, you understand that I'm just holding your interest. For one major point, first of all, you can't view an audience. If you view an audience while you're doing Dance Without Music, for now, in that aspect, you're gonna lose something. So that's why everybody knows who continues to do these classes, they understand what I'm talking about. So I did those combinations. Now I'm going to do the combinations and show you by turning from one corner to the next, and then I'm going to do the combination. And that's going to be it for that. So it's here, doing just like I did before, and this is going in a radical 9, okay? Radical 9, radical 9, radical 9. Now I'm going to go back to my space, okay? And right there, and then right here, and right here. I can move any way I want to, but you can't move diagonal. I already told you that. So now I'm going to turn here. If I turn here, I know where I'm at. That means I can go here, 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 and these are combinations, okay? And I'm back here. If I put my back to here, I know where I'm at. I can go here, and I can go here. I can go back one. It's no numbers. And then I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to turn. And then I'm back here. And I know where I'm at. Okay. And I'm going to... Okay. And then I'm going to just walk inside Radical 9. Over back. I can go up. And now I'm back, okay? So those are combinations, okay? And the reason why you have to do the combinations, because it's different. It's a definition of space, but the thing about it is you can't use it unless you know it. Remember when I told you about this? The reason why we know this is because we've been measuring things our whole life. And then when we get used to the measurement, we don't need to measure. We just see it and we feel so familiar with it. Well, that's how it is in the Dance Without Music and the combinations. The combinations, you develop the space. Okay? So you don't get the space until you know it, until you keep using it. And the more you use it, the more you know about the space. It's just like, example again, when I give an example, it's not like it is, but it's an example, okay? Like you have a house, okay? And let's do I want to go for a mansion? Okay. Okay, let's just say a regular house, okay? You have to go through, this rice is gonna be ready. So when you get a new house, and this is going to, let me dismiss it. Okay. Now, when you get a new house, okay, you go to every room. You go through every room and you furnish every room. I really wouldn't furnish. I like the way Conway furnishes. That's the way I would furnish my house. I forgot what they call it, minimizing or whatever. It's a very nice term. But you furnish it, you walk in it, you use it, you put pictures on it, and the more you utilize your house, the more you understand the space in it. Well, that's what it is with the combinations. The combinations gives you an exercise to use to get to know the space around you. And the more we get to know our space around us, the more things we can get to do. And we get to use our powers more. I told you what the powers were. But there's a lot of movements that you have to do. Like, for instance, there's a lot of movements that we do when we do this. And the thing about it is you're developing, I don't use muscles or anything because it's not my field. That's why I have to say powers, because that's my expertise, the powers. And the powers is nothing really weird. It's an American term. I use it, remember, this was developed in America because I'm American, and I use terms that Americans are familiar with, okay? It's just like music terms are terms that are used pretty much from Italian, okay? Well, this one is pretty much used from American terms. So I can develop these powers, okay? And remember, I can't use muscles. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't go into that. I have to tell you the power. So that means my tension, I develop with the combination. See, this is tension, okay? I'm developing that. I'm developing my power, tension. I'm using just tension, okay? Okay, so that's just tension. Weight, I'm using my weight because, okay, I'm not moving like subconsciously. When you move subconsciously, it's just you only work a certain amount of muscles. But with this, you're doing exactly what you have to do. Very small movements, but every movement you make, you also see in your mind. So there's so many powers that we went over. You have to start from the beginning to see. So you know about the combinations, you know about height, and you know about like from here, if I go from here to here, and you can take it from here to here. What's actually measuring it when I go from up to down, then we're talking about the control, which we did a while back, but the reason why I'm going like this because I know there's new people and they'll say control. Well, if you want to know about the control, it's back there. I don't know. It's a long time ago. So when we measured our height, we went up from the retro stage to the first floor. We used the control, but don't worry about that. Remember, don't play with the control, but just do it like when I tell you that you can do it. Like we just did it. We did it once. I would just do it once, and then that's it. Even when I do it, I don't play with the control until I know exactly what it is. So until I have control over the control. When I have control over the control, then I will tell you about it. But the one reason why you don't play with the control is because you'll go into processing, okay? Like I did, and it took me so long. I had to because I have to teach you this, so I had to go into a control. If you do something with the control, it will trigger something to where it will destroy your subconscious, and it will replace it with something that you can control. Like it happens all the time. It's like when you ride a bicycle, when you rode a bicycle the first time, you didn't know how to ride it, okay? But it's the control. It's not just the control, it's a lot of things, but mostly the control. And the control will set up the mechanism, which we already, apparatus. And we did apparatus. We'll make the apparatus, and then after it makes the apparatus, it has to make sure that you're able to do it with the powers that I told you about. And then once you become familiar with it, you can put it into your it's not really subconscious, because when you know how to do something, you can still do it subconsciously, but you have to, it's not as subconscious as a task that you don't know what you're doing. Like for instance, our walking is pretty much subconsciously done, but I played with it, so it broke it down to where I couldn't use the subconscious mind to walk. It was terrible. That's why I'm not ready yet, but it's coming along. Anyway, for the people who, I got to get to this food. For the people, thank you very much for everything. Stay in tune, and thank you for my lesson. I haven't been back. I'll be back soon. Just another update. Thank you. Bye-bye.